This is taken from the Shelton side of the river looking towards Derby. That's the Derby trestle going across to East Derby. We're swinging left towards the center of town up over what used to be O'Sullivan's Island and is now the Derby Fire Training School just south of the new Route 8 bridge. There's the tower there, the original one. We're looking again towards East Derby just south of St. Michael's Church area and swinging north. This is down on Route 110, South Shelton. Now it's known as Howe Avenue. Across the river, that's the hills of Orange in the background. The train was stalled and the crew had to be rescued from it. The water was about 4 feet deep around the tracks and up over the bottom of the boxes. Swinging left, the Derby Housatonic Lumber Yard, the rear of Main Street in Derby. Swinging to the north, that's all the rear of Main Street. The Derby Shelton Trestle. Once again, the Naugatuck River looking towards East Derby. The old Franklin School, the Derby Trestle going into East Derby. Farrell Birmingham Derby Yard taken from the Route 8 bridge on Main Street. And this was a scene of their yard. You can tell the height of the water by the big clock sign there and the way these sheds are floating around. The water was quite deep and pretty swift in that area. This is the old Powell Street in Ansonia that's now gone. This would be the area where in the rear of the shopping mall and where the Holy Rosary Church is now. It was very badly damaged. The buildings were full of mud and silt and all the furniture is ruined. That's what you see being loaded onto trucks now. They had to scrape it all out of the homes and get rid of it. The Ansonia Railroad Yard, looking north from the Bridge Street Bridge, going up Main Street, that's Farrell's in the back, and the old Broad Street, which is now Olson Drive on the far side of the river. Somebody's pride and joy. Looking south from Bridge Street on the railroad tracks going towards the Ansonia Trestle. This is Seymour looking north. The white building is the old W.L. Ward Funeral Home. Got undermined and they lost their hearse. They never did locate that. It just went downstream and disintegrated. This is Derby Avenue in Seymour behind the Seymour Library and the old high school. The buildings are pretty well destroyed. This is looking down. Slightly to the left would be the Union Cemetery, which was completely washed out in the rear. Hundreds of graves went out. Caskets and vaults went floating down the river. This is looking towards the old Seymour High School, the Ward Funeral Home, and the old Trestle. Several buildings went out in that area, including Preston Buick Agency, which lost a couple of trucks and several cars. You can see the height of the water in the area, the Seymour Manufacturing Company, and part of the railroad trestle that went down north of the building there. And coming into view will be the old Route 8 trestle. That's the one that still stands and catches all the big trailer trucks as they try to squeeze under it. First Avenue in Seymour, that would be in the area across from where the present Seymour Police Station is. These buildings are all gone now. A number of them were washed out with the flood. There were some pretty big tenements there that floated downstream. The old Route 8 going north. To the right would be the old Seymour Products Company. And the stream that comes down from Hoadley Pond. It enters the river right at this junction. The old Seymour Lumber Company, which was at the junction of Route 8 and 67, I believe, is the route. Just recovering from the flood of August when this flood hit. It wasn't quite as devastating. That's the old drive-in theater, Division Street in Derby. The Naugatuck River in the background. The trestle in Ansonia south of Bridge Street. Another shot of it. There was some fear that it was going to go out with this flood. That's the Bailey Bridge that was put in across the river right behind the Ansonia Railroad Station to Broad Street. And they were quite concerned with it. It looked like that was going to be flooded away. That's looking towards Farrell's where the Maple Street Bridge crossed. Here we are, the Bailey Bridge again, with the fire chiefs of Derby and Ansonia checking it out to see if it was going to remain or go away. The water was very swift in this area. We are still behind the railroad station, looking at the river, going across towards Broad Street, swinging south now. They were trying to clear some of the debris from the tracks. Here is where the Maple Street Bridge crosses. The old one was washed out. We now swing to the Housatonic River in Derby. That's behind the Derby Powerhouse, looking towards Shelton. Just south of the dam. Another shot of it. The Housatonic Dam, looking towards the Shelton Gatehouse. Over the canal, the Derby Canal. The height of the water was quite high there. It almost reached the crest where it would come right out over Route 34 if it went any higher. We're now driving down 34. That's the Indian Wells State Park on the other side of the river. McConney's Grove in the nearest portion of the picture. Across the river on the far side is the Maples in the city of Shelton. No buildings went up, but they were all badly flooded. A lot of damage from water. Another shot of the Maples looking across from the area of the Pink House Cove in Derby. A beautiful stop, shot of a nice shrub if you like it. Looking north at the Pink House Cove area, and once again swinging to the left to the Maples and Shelton.